Hello there guys, welcome to the channel where today we address an interesting question that I have been asked a lot, and I listen to you guys and I try my best to answer, so let's go ahead and cross this off the list. Why did it seem that Grievous could easily beat the Jedi and even kill them? This subject is mostly brought up when you see him in the Clone Wars series, both in the animated series and in the cartoon. I have thought about this for a while, so what will come next is my opinion, but if you think I'm wrong or maybe right, but you need to add something, feel free to share your thoughts down in the comments. Let's get something going down there. But with all that said, I will try to separate every reason why Grievous is so OP at times. It's not as easy as you might think. Realistically, there is a bunch of reasons why Grievous was successful against the Jedi. So I will start with the most asked question: why didn't the Jedi just use the Force? Well, to start off, Grievous was tenacious in battle. There was simply no time for you to concentrate enough to use any Force power against him. But what's more is that if you really look at it, the Jedi don't have any Force powers that could stop Grievous. I mean, sure, let's start with Force Push. So consider this: how many Jedi in total do you have in the Order? And then if you subtract that number with how many are Grand Masters or even Jedi Masters, the numbers start to dwindle, and Grievous used that opportunity. Just like Savage Opress, Grievous would annihilate Jedi Knights and Padawans who still didn't possess the power to stop him with either push or pull or whatever they had in mind. Again, don't forget, even Jedi Masters were overwhelmed when Grievous attacked, hence reaction time is critical. What would be by far the most effective Force ability to use against Grievous is almost never used by the Jedi, and that is Force Lightning. Now that would have been a quick way to deal with the notorious Jedi Hunter Grievous. Most of his body is made out of metal, and his remaining organs would have easily fried under the strong Force Lightning barrage, and the life support system that Grievous had would have been damaged very quickly. In fact, Vader's suit was heavily inspired by Grievous. But of course, Force Lightning wasn't a technique that the Jedi approved. Lastly, let's face it, no matter how much they try to suppress it, Jedi Knights are perfectly capable of feeling fear in that moment of terror, and Grievous was the most intimidating Jedi Hunter the Order had faced in quite a few centuries. The Jedi were peacekeepers for millennia and hadn't faced a Sith or any fierce opponent for a millennia. Most Jedi lived and died without ever having their backs pushed against the wall, with lightsaber dueling an enemy who was much more skilled than they were, that was hell-bent on taking their lives and adding their own prized blades to his growing collection. When the Clone Wars started, the reality was that the majority of the Jedi were not used to fighting in lightsaber duels against opponents that were as fierce as Grievous, Savage, and even Asajj Ventress. The biggest advantage Grievous had was the former Jedi Count Dooku. In the original cartoon series, we see Count Dooku training Grievous, specifically so that he can use unorthodox techniques against the Jedi. While training, Dooku encourages Grievous to break his opponent's concentration and control. With that, he can dictate the flow of the battle in his own terms and not the Jedi. Controlling the flow of the battle and keeping his enemies off guard meant that Grievous did not allow his enemies to make use of Force powers. Look at it like this: if Grievous was a car, the Jedi would be the deer in headlights, too surprised to do anything worthwhile and just trying not to die. However, Dooku many times told Grievous that if any of these elements were missing, it would be best for Grievous to retreat immediately. Those times where Grievous went against this advice, it almost never ended well for him. So I hope I cleared this up for you guys as much as possible. I mean, there's a lot of factors, obviously, out of the universe as well, of course, but we're not going to talk about those. It's pretty obvious. You can't deny, though, that Grievous was terrifying for any Jedi that crossed paths with that monster. Hope you never do, my friends. Thank you so much for stopping by, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a thumbs up and hit that bell to get notified the moment a video is up. Have an awesome day, my friends, and may the Force be with you always.